Your son just graduated from college and he doesn't have a job. What now? For many new graduates, today's job market feels discouraging and uncertain. We're hearing about layoffs, fewer entry-level jobs, and what many are calling an entry-level hiring crisis. And for this graduating class, the transition from college to career may not look the way they expected. In today's episode of Raising Boys with Purpose, we're talking about how moms can support and encourage their sons during a difficult job search, while still helping them grow in responsibility, resilience, and independence. This may not be the season they anticipated, but God still has a plan for their future. And as moms, we have the opportunity to guide, encourage, and pray for our sons as they navigate this next step into adulthood. Welcome to Raising Boys with Purpose, a Christian parenting podcast for moms raising teens and young adult sons. I'm Brooke, a boy mom and parenting coach, and here we talk about raising sons, building character, and preparing our boys for adulthood with confidence and faith. Now, real quick, if you're looking for more encouragement and conversation throughout the week, come join our Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook group. The link is in the description. When we hear people talk about the economy and the job market, it can feel kind of distant, until suddenly it affects our own families. For many of our sons, graduating college and stepping into today's job market can be their first real experience with disappointment and uncertainty. We hear about layoffs, declining hiring rates, and the job market changing rapidly. But there's still hope. ZipRecruiter has reported an increase in internship postings, despite concerns surrounding AI and automation. So how can we help our sons navigate this new season while continuing to build the resilience they've been developing all along? When I graduated from college, I had no idea what I was doing. I was the first person on either side of my family to graduate from college, and while my family tried to help, there just wasn't a lot of knowledge or guidance available. I hadn't completed an internship because no one really ever talked to me about one and how important they were. I worked through college, but those jobs didn't really provide the experience that employers were looking for. And honestly, the job market was awful. Mind you, this was before Indeed or online job applications. So I spent time going from one employment agency to another and worked a series of temp jobs until I eventually found something permanent. But I took what I could get because I was getting married and I had bills to pay. There didn't seem to be a lot of choice or a lot of options. Over time, I changed jobs and somehow ended up working in accounting with my business degree. I had to stay flexible and work hard, and there were ups and downs along the way. I even accepted a job at one point that just didn't work out, and I had to start over from scratch. But eventually, I landed in a great place professionally. Looking back now, I can see how much perseverance and flexibility mattered during that time, even when it felt discouraging. So what is this entry-level hiring crisis we keep hearing about? Basically, it's a reduction in starter jobs, combined with unrealistic expectations and requirements for experience. If you've spent any time on YouTube or TikTok lately, you've probably seen videos highlighting some of the outrageous experience requirements attached to entry-level jobs. Unfortunately, those are often the exact jobs our sons are applying for. Many of them are spending hours scrolling through job postings on Indeed or LinkedIn, sending applications everywhere. And as they do it, they're growing more discouraged as the days go by. So what are some practical and supportive things we can do as moms to help? First, let's make sure we acknowledge their accomplishment, the hard work that got them to graduation. This is still a milestone worth celebrating. As parents, we also deserve to enjoy that moment with them. No matter what lies ahead, our sons accomplished something important. This season shouldn't immediately become overshadowed by fear about what comes next. The diploma will last forever, but the celebration itself is only here for a moment. Of course, one of the primary purposes of college is to prepare students for a career. So when graduation comes and a job hasn't followed yet, it can feel discouraging for everyone involved. as parents, it can also be difficult to know how to help because our sons are adults now. But many of them might still rely on us financially and emotionally while they search for work. That's why honest conversations matter. The level of advice and guidance we give may vary depending on whether our sons are living at home or depending on us financially. If they are, we have a responsibility to both them and ourselves to discuss our expectations clearly and honestly. This doesn't have to be harsh or hard-nosed, but it does need to be realistic. Most of us don't have unlimited financial resources, and even if we did, continuing a pattern of long-term dependence, it doesn't help our son, and it doesn't help us. At the same time, we also want to approach this with compassion. Job searching today can be emotionally exhausting, especially for young adults who've never had to go through this before, and they expected life to just look different after graduation. In fact, we often hear parents online talk about sons spending hours playing video games and accomplishing very little. Sometimes that behavior is not just laziness. It can be a form of escapism, a way to avoid thinking about pressure, disappointment, and also fear of the future. But deep down, our sons want more for themselves. Now, let's be honest. While they're looking for a career opportunity and that first job, this might also be a time where they need to take a temporary job, just to help out with paying the bills and also creating some stability and a schedule for themselves. Now, sometimes young adults worry that taking a job outside their preferred career path means they're somehow failing or getting sidetracked. But finding the right long-term opportunity can take time, and having income coming in can relieve financial pressure. Another option worth considering is internships. Many colleges require internships before graduation, but there's no rule that says you can only have one. In fact, internships can still be incredibly valuable after graduation. Some turn into full-time job opportunities, and even when they don't, they can help young adults gain experience, develop skills, and make valuable connections. Even if the internship isn't perfectly aligned with your son's major, he can still learn a tremendous amount and strengthen his resume for future jobs. This can also be a good time for your son to evaluate whether there are additional skills that could make him more marketable in his field. Maybe it's a certification, a license, or additional software training. Instead of seeing this season as stuck, it can become a season of preparation and growth. And let's not discount the importance of networking. Right now, job applications are increasing, while job postings are declining. You're even seeing people use AI to send out thousands of applications and resumes that just seem to clutter up the system. In many industries, relationships and personal connections matter more than ever. Sometimes opportunities come down to who you know or simply who you meet. Most communities have Chamber of Commerce events, professional networking groups, and industry gatherings that are open to the public. Many professionals genuinely enjoy helping young graduates get started in their careers. Your son simply has to be willing to put himself in those environments. And if networking feels uncomfortable for him, this may be the perfect time to develop those skills. In a world where AI is increasingly replacing routine entry-level work, soft skills matter more than ever. Communication, professionalism, confidence, and relationship building can help our sons stand out in a way resumes alone cannot. For every job posting, there are thousands of applicants. Networking creates opportunities to talk to real people who know real people and may be able to open doors that online applications never will. Now, as moms, we can't force our sons to do any of these things. We can guide, encourage, and support them, but ultimately they have to decide how they're going to move forward. Still, there are powerful things we can do to support them emotionally and spiritually during this season. No matter what, we can pray for our sons to have wisdom, perseverance, and peace as they navigate their job search. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Psalm 122, 6-8 also encourages us to pray for the peace of others. We can encourage our sons to pray for guidance and peace as well. Isaiah 30:21 shares the promise of hearing direction for the right way to go. Even though we will always love and support our sons, we also want to continue encouraging them to grow in independence and deepen their reliance on God, not solely on us. This season can be difficult for both our sons and us as moms. Watching them work hard, face rejection, or struggle with uncertainty after graduation can be emotionally hard to walk through. But this season can also become one of tremendous growth, resilience, maturity, and preparation for the future God has for them. Our sons may not fully understand it yet, but perseverance developed during hard seasons often shape them in ways success alone never could. The work ethic, the flexibility, humility, and persistence they build now will serve them for years to come. And as moms, our role is not to carry the entire burden for them, but to encourage them, guide them wisely, pray for them faithfully, and remind them that one difficult season does not define their future. If you have any ideas or experiences that helped your son during a difficult job search, I'd love for you to share them with our community on social media. The links will be in the description. Together, we can encourage one another and continue helping our sons grow into the men God created them to be. If this episode of Raising Boys with Purpose encouraged you, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of this podcast. And if you're raising a teen or young adult son and want encouragement and practical guidance, come join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook community. The link is below. Thanks for being here today. Now grab your iced coffee, hug your son, and remember, you're raising him with purpose.